Today, I am on a search to find the true best SIR from every Scarlet and Violet set. In this video, we're going to be going over every single set, checking out what the SIRs are, and also checking out the polls I created for each of these SIRs to see what the community thought. This is going to be a great video to show you what is truly the best SIR, what you should be putting your money into, what you should be investing in, collecting, what has the best artwork, and we're going to get straight into it. Let's go. Now the first set is, of course, Scarlet and Violet base. We have the Gardevoir starting it off at $41. We are actually searching from most expensive to least expensive, which is really crazy because for a $250, $280 box, the top chase card's only $41. Even in a PSA 10, this Gardevoir is like $200 maximum. But you can see the only SIRs in this set that are this high are the Gardevoir, the Miriam, the Miraidon, and the Koraidon. So I did a poll. And before I'm going to share the poll, in my opinion, I do believe the Gardevoir does look the best. It has the best story. It has the whole Ralts Gardevoir Curly line of growing up. That's a really cool story. I think Miriam is just not as good as a card. Miraidon's nice and Koraidon's nice, but they just don't fit. And the reason I actually created this entire video is because I recently made a ranking of all 158 special illustration rares from every single Scarlet and Violet era set. I have that link to the top right there. But that really got me started on this journey of figuring out what is truly the best SAR. And for the polls, you can see that we had 100 votes. I know, not a crazy amount of votes. I'm not twice baked Jake here. I'm just trying my best. We had only 104 votes. That's still a good amount. And of course, Gardevoir came on top with 69%. That is pretty nice. I think that it honestly deserves it. I think Koraidon, yes, is the worst. I think Miriam and Miraidon are tied. And I think Gardevoir, it was kind of obvious, but I just want to say real quick that the first Scarlet and Violet set, Paldea Evolved, and even Obsidian Flames have some pretty obvious choices and answers. But after that, it's a crazy game of some SLRs you really wouldn't expect to be the top chases that the community agrees are not the top chases. And we go really into some speculative, some investing natures, and it's not going to be so cut and dry. Gardevoir is the best. We have some crazy things coming up, so just wait for that. But of course, Gardevoir is number one. It makes sense. It's no surprise. Moving into Paldea Evolved. Remember, this is actually SIRs, not illustration rares, so we're not including the Magikarp, the Raichu, the Tyranitar, or the Mousehold. So there's actually not much in this set. So that's why, of course, Iono is probably going to win by far. But, you know, you have the Iono, and you have a couple more. But again, let's just go to the polls right away because it's so obvious. Iono at 47%, Grusha at 19%, Masquerade at 6%, and Chien-Pao at 29%. Now, of course, Iono wins, but I also thought in my heart, I do believe that Chien-Pao is actually a better card. I think it looks better. I think it's an actual Pokemon. I think it's so cool the way the art blends into this, like, kind of forest of icy wind. I think that is so absolutely cool. I think Grusha SR is actually pretty cool as well because it gives a different perspective, kind of her inside this kind of window with the snow outside, with the birds outside the window looking in. I think it's really interesting. I do believe that Chien-Pao is actually the true best SIR of this set. So in my opinion, Paldea Evolved, nope, not you Iono, it's Chien-Pao. Moving on, Obsidian Flames. Again, this is a pretty obvious one. We only really have the Charizard, the Pidgeot, as well as I think two other ones. I hit the poll, and again, it came up pretty obviously. Charizard EX first, Pidgeot EX second, and then Revroom and Ice Cube getting kicked in the bucket, because really, who's buying these cards? But now, from this point, this is where it gets pretty interesting. This is where all the speculation comes up. This is where it's not so cut and dry. Next setup, Pokemon 151. Now, of course, the Charizard is number one, followed by Blastoise, Venusaur, Zapdos, and then the Alakazam a little further. But guess what? In my opinion, the Zapdos is better. I think the Zapdos is a nicer artwork. I think the Charizard is overhyped. I think the Blastoise is very plain, and I think the Venusaur is actually very beautiful with its kind of flowery background. I think it's very nice, but in my opinion, Zapdos is so undervalued, especially because you're considering that Zapdos is $53, while Charizard is $190. I mean, it's 4 times cheaper. So why wouldn't you just buy 4 of these Zapdoses? Because honestly, it's going to be a real surprise if the Charizard doubles, triples, but it's not a surprise that the Zapdos doubles or triples. I mean, it's kind of obvious. It should be happening because with artwork like that, it just must happen. So I took a look at what my poll said, and guess what? Charizard lost. Zapdos EX was actually voted the number one SIR from this entire set. Pokemon 151 at 38%, beating Charizard out by just 3% at 35%, and then we have Blastoise at 15% and Venusaur at 12%, showing that Zapdos is actually better. It looks nicer. And I wrote right here, best SIR in all of Scarlet and Violet Part 4 Pokemon 151. So I'm just saying in general, whether it be investing, collecting, artwork, price, ROI, whatever it may be, Zapdos is a clear winner. And I agree with that. So in my opinion, Pokemon 151 Zapdos is the winner. I thought that was really, really interesting. Moving on, Paradox Rift. Right now, the top chases is of course the Groudon, but again, SIRs only. We have Roaring Moon, Altaria, Garchomp, and Goldango. Now, I believe that, in my opinion, I guess the Roaring Moon is a lot nicer. I feel like it's in a very action stance. It has so many ancient Pokemon in the background. It really captures this whole ancient and future spirit, being the first set to actually introduce this. I thought it's really, really cool. Altaria is really nice, but I feel like it's a little plain, and I think that Garchomp just doesn't have enough going for it. So in my opinion, Roaring Moon still stays as the top chase. Let's go to what my poll said, and as you can see, Roaring Moon did win, but just barely to Altaria. Just so barely, 1%. One person could have changed this entire vote. So it's not 100% sure. But actually, we had a cool comment here that was basically saying that Tapu Koko was their favorite because they think the artwork is the best. I think that Tapu Koko is a nice card. I don't think it's the very, very best. I do think it has some great artwork, but in terms of Pokemon, nobody really cares about Tapu Koko. So of course, things like Altaria, Garchomp, Roaring Moon are winning. And in my opinion, it does teeter between Garchomp, the Altaria, and the Roaring Moon, but Roaring Moon just takes the cake by far. I believe Roaring Moon is the best card of the entire Paradox Rift set. Now moving on, Paldean Fates. This set is just the Bubble Mew set, let's be honest here. This set is really Bubble Mew standing out in front. But what if I told you, I don't believe it's true. I believe that Bubble Mew hype is slightly over justified. I do believe it's an amazing card. I do believe it's going to be one of the top maybe 3 chases of the entire Scarlet and Violet era. But I believe that the Gardevoir right here, this bad boy, with the little Wooper in the background and the little Pachirisu sleeping on the bed of grass, I believe this is truly the best card of this entire set. Now, not just in terms of artwork. I do believe artwork of the Gardevoir is a lot nicer than Bubble Mew. I think Bubble Mew is a little bit plain, it's a little bit childish. Now, don't roast me in the comments here, okay? Do not start roasting me. I have my reason for this. I'm gonna get to it, don't worry. I think Gardevoir has a way better return on investments. Because let's say in 3 years, you buy a Bubble Mew. And right now, let's say it's $400 for the Bubble Mew. In 3 years, maybe it's gonna be 1,000. That would be a lot. Let's say it triples, okay? Let's say somehow it triples. Now, do you not think that the Gardevoir will be at least a $300 card? And guess what? If it hits 300, it's 5x. And you could have bought how many Gardevoirs for the price of Bubble Mew? 5? So it just doesn't make sense to me. The price of what these cards are at just doesn't feel justified at what you're gonna get in the future. I believe the Gardevoir is a nicer artwork. If you hate me because I didn't say Bubble Mew like a total kind of in the crowd sheep, then my bad, I'm really sorry, but I just believe that the Gardevoir is better. Of course, the poll didn't believe with me, because who would believe that Gardevoir is the best? It did rank second, but I mean, Bubble Mew, 68%, it just completely destroyed. Let's be honest here, we knew it was coming. But I like the Bubble Mew, but I think the Gardevoir has something special going for it. And this reminds me a lot, again, of the Gardevoir and Sylveon from Unbroken Bonds. I love that card a lot. It was once not the chase card of the entire set, and now it is. I feel like things like that could happen. Again, we have a comment, let's check it out. It was basically saying that Gardevoir is such a good card. Well, I like that. I hope that didn't actually influence my opinion too much. I think Gardevoir is great as well. You can see one person commented. That doesn't mean that much. Please let me know, by the way, in the comment sections, what you feel about all these cards. If these rankings are kind of unjustified, if you believe some cards are overrated, underrated, what you think are the top chase cards of each actual set in terms of SIRs. But let's move on. Temporal Forces. I believe this set is actually really, really cool. The fact that you have ancient Pokemon, future Pokemon, you have these nice SIRs like the Ghastly, these Gengars, you have cool illustration rares. What an amazing set. But right now, the Raging Bolt EX is the top chase card, followed really closely by the Iron Crown, the Walking Wake, and then the, Gouging Fire. But again, the top 2 chase cards are obviously the Raging Bolt and Iron Crown. I believe that Raging Bolt has a much nicer artwork. I believe Iron Crown still looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, these two, Iron Crown and Raging Bolt, are in a league of their own. They look absolutely spectacular. I don't think you could have ever said that they do not look so amazing, but enough of my yapping. I do believe Raging Bolt is actually the best. I think the artwork is just so transcending. I think that the background is so interesting. The fact, let's zoom in out. That's how good this is. We got to see the lighting in the background. The fact that the prehistoric plants are growing in front of it. It's almost like a camera angle where the blur is in the front and then all of a sudden, boom, it goes right to the Raging Bolt, putting it in aspect ratio. Now, I do believe Iron Crown is still very nice. I think it has a great artwork, but I feel like it's slightly lackluster. It was once the chase card of Temporal Forces, but guess what? Guess what? When I ranked it and I showed the poll, the Iron Crown comes up on top with 38%, and then Gouging Fire is at 24%, which is, again, really surprising to me because Raging Bolt is only at 32%, only 8 higher than the actual Gouging Fire and 6 less than Iron Crown. So for some reason, Iron Crown is said to be a better card. I still believe Raging Bolt looks slightly nicer. It is a good amount more expensive, so that could be a reason as well. But I think Raging Bolt still takes the cake by a little bit. So Raging Bolt is the best SIR from Temporal Forces. Next up, Twilight Masquerade. Damn, what a set list. In my opinion, this has one of the most whimsical, fun set lists of a long time, I have to say. Greninja looks so cool. Eevee is such a beautiful card. Blood Moon Stellaar. I think that the Sinistry is honestly pretty awful. I would stop looking at that, honestly. It's a very bad card. Do not look over there. Chansey's great, and the Ogre Pawns are pretty funny. I think this is a great set. I don't know why Carmine isn't more up here. Carmine really should be higher. I don't think something's wrong right here, but whatever. Anyways, Greninja EX Air is the top card. I think Carmine and Parent are the second two, and Blood Moon Ursaluna is number 4. And again, in the poll, we can see Greninja absolutely blows it out of the water. It's not even close. Carmine, Blood Moon, and Parent all share less than 20% together. Or 20% exactly. I mean, it's kind of sad to see Greninja just absolutely exploiting these sad other SIRs. But I mean, it was obvious it's going to be the top chase. I believe it is the top chase. I believe if you want a better ROI, Blood Moon Ursaluna EX is actually better. But this again is another blowout. But from here, I know I said that earlier, but from here, the opinions get really crazy. Okay, some things get a little bit out of hand. So I'm going to show it to you right now. Next up, we have. Sorry, this set is so bad. We have Shrouded Fable. In other words, Shrouded Trash. Number 1 is obviously Pheasant Deputy EX. Sorry, I'm getting flustered with how bad this set is. Pheasant Deputy EX is number 1, followed by Okidogi, Petron, and then finally Monkey Dory. I mean, the prices are crazy. It goes from 42 to what? 16, 15, 13. It's absolutely insane. The reason the Pheasant Deputy is so expensive is not artwork actually based. It's because it's one of the most playable cards in the TCG. But let's see what the poll said. The poll says, I'm sorry, by the way. I decided to be a little funny with this because I knew Shrouded Fable would never get any votes. Personally, if I saw Shrouded Fable in anyone's, kind of For You page, I'd be shocked. I would not vote on this. So I named it Dog, Monkey, Bird, and Thing. Dog got the most votes, followed by Monkey, then Bird, then Thing. I feel like this is actually pretty representative. I think that the Ogidogi actually does look the best in terms of artwork. I think Monkey Dory is pretty cool as well. The Pheasant Deputy Bird is pretty boring, and I don't know what Pencheret is doing. I don't know who designed this Pokemon because they were on some crazy heroine. Next, again, by the way, real quick, I think that Okidogi is the best artwork in this set. That's what I'm trying to say. But next up, let's move to Stellaar Crown. I'm sorry if this video is a little bit janky. I'm trying to go through a little bit of what my community is saying as well as what I believe in. So I think some things are clashing here, but I want to say that there's no clashing happening in Stellaar Crown. Terapagos EX is of course number 1. There's obviously Dashbell and Lacey. There's the Hydrapple, Galvantula. And I believe, Terapagos is the best card. I feel like Galvantula is also really cool, but Terapagos is the number 1 chase in terms of SIRs. I don't think that's very debatable. It is what it is, and it's very reflective of the actual voting. 49% going to Terapagos, as well as 23 to Dashbell, and then 14 each respectively to Galvantula and Hydrapple. I think it's very one-sided. It's nothing to go over. I think we're going to skip this right now and move on to something. The biggest opinions in this entire kind of video. I have to say, this is kind of crazy. Let's take a look. Surging Sparks, the Pikachu EX, right? Number 1 chase card, $260. Next up, Latias EX, $152. Next up, Milotic EX, $90. Pikachu EX, get out of there. It's a gold card, SIR. I don't want to talk about you, okay? Hydreigon at $42. Lizzius is $35. And finally, Alolan Executor at $33. Now, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, okay, Milotic EX is the number 1 best looking card, the nicest chase art, the nicest artwork by far, has a connecting artwork, okay? And it only slightly gets beaten out, in my opinion, by maybe the Latias EX that connects with the Latios over here. I think that these two are both absolutely beautiful artworks. They just remind me so much of something like the Team Up era. I want to say that at one point, in Team Up, the top chase card of that set was actually the Pikachu and Zekrom full art, the yellow card. And then all of a sudden it got beaten out by the Latios and Latios Tag Team GX, by the Gengar Mimikyu, by the Wailord and Magikarp. And I think the same thing's gonna happen. I think Pikachu's way overhyped, and really slowly the Latios is gonna take over. Then the Milotic is gonna take over. Then the Hydreigon, maybe even the Alolan Exeggutor, though I don't think Alolan Exeggutor or Hydreigon will actually hit those levels. I do believe strongly that the Milotic and the Latios will take over the Pikachu. And let's check what my voters says. What did the poll say? The exact same thing I was thinking. Now, this is not biased. I actually did not look at this before that. I just saw it. Latias is at 41%. Milotic is at 28. Pikachu's at 26. Below Milotic. I'm trying not to get so excited, okay? Let's relax over here. And Hydreigon is at 5%. That is really, really cool to me because it actually just goes exactly with what I'm saying. I swear I did not look at this beforehand. That's really, really cool. 41% does deserving of the Latias EX. Sorry, I can't speak. I'm just so overwhelmed by how awesome this is because I do believe the Butthole Pikachu, whatever you want to call it, is not the top chase card of the set. I do believe Latias EX should be the top chase card, followed very, very closely, if not actually beaten out, by the Milotic EX SIR. So I think Milotic and Latias are truly the top chase cards of Surging Sparks. Moving on, Prismatic Evolutions, Prismatic Execution, Prismatic Scalper Fight Off. Okay, let's look at this. Umbreon, Sylveon, Leafeon, Espeon, Vaporeon, Jolteon. It is an evolution fest, okay? Let's be honest here. It's just evolution for days. This is not a surprising ranking. I'm not even gonna go over it. You know the top chase gets Umbreon, followed by Sylveon and Espeon. So let's look at the ratings. Of course, Umbreon, followed by Sylveon and Espeon. It was never going to be anything else. I do believe that honestly the Umbreon, Sylveon, and Espeon do look the best. I think they have nice artwork. I think they are the most popular Pokemon. There wasn't just much to go off of this. I just wanted to put this in because I can't be skipping sets. Let's move on. We know what the top chase card is. We know it, okay? Destined Rivals. In my opinion, this is one of the greatest sets of the Scarlet and Violet era. I do believe this is either number 2, 3, maybe even 4, followed by maybe Surging Sparks, 151, Paldean Fates, and of course you have other sets like Prismatic Evolutions. I think that we have a crazy amount of good sets in the Scarlet and Violet era. I think Destined Rivals is definitely part of that top 3, top 4, top 5 gang. Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX is number 1 right now at $348, all USD of course. Next up, Garchomp, Cynthia's Garchomp at 203, Team Rocket's Moltres 158, Ethan's Ho-Oh at 148, Team Rocket's Nidoking 103, and then Team Rocket's Crobat at 75. Those are the chase cards of this main set, the SIRs. Yes, there's of course a couple others, but they're pretty dookie. Now, I have to say that in my opinion, I like the Team Rocket's Moltres the best in terms of artwork. I think the Ho-Oh EX has the most interesting artwork. I think Cynthia's Garchomp has the most powerful dynamic artwork. But of course, Team Rocket's Mewtwo is going to win because it's Mewtwo, it's Team Rocket. It was hyped up like absolute craziness. But let's move on just a little bit because I want to see what the poll says. By the way, before we move on, I want to say that in my opinion, the best card in this set is the Team Rocket's Mewtwo. I don't think it could have been any other way. Now, it's nice to say, oh, I think it's the Cynthia's Garchomp. I think it's the Moltres. I think it's the Ho. But get real, okay? Get real, my guys. I think that, honestly, you cannot ever say that Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX is not the top chase card. And the funny thing is, usually I'd say something like, oh, the other prices are so cheap. But in this case, I feel like the prices for these other cards, the Garchomp, the Moltres, the Ho-Oh, are actually pretty high. 140, 150, 200. Might as well just buy the Team Rocket's Mewtwo, the top chase card of the set. But I wouldn't recommend to buy right now. I feel like these prices will drop a little bit. But let's take a look at the poll, okay? Because I'm kind of talking a lot. Mewtwo EX, 40%, Garchomp 25, Moltres at 21, Ho-Oh at 14. It just justifies what I'm saying. It makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna move on from here. Of course, Mewtwo EX, the top chase card of Destined Rivals, is still the best card. Next up, I want to go over something very, very interesting. We have Black Bolt and White Flare. Let's check out Black Bolt right now. Now, as you can see, the Black Bolt is looking really, really interesting. We have both Zekrom and Victini at number 1 in terms of the chase cards. I don't count these as SIRs. I think these are different. They're BWR cards. They're a totally different rarity. So I'm not counting these as SIRs. Same with Seismitoad. He's an IR. There's some crazy market manipulation going with the Seismitoad. I don't know what's happening. I think some weird stuff going on with the slight 666 in the background, if you can see it. There's a tiny 666 over here. 100% market manipulation. This is not gonna actually get like banned. Don't worry, guys. Let's chill out. But as you can see, the top SIRs are the Zekrom, the Genesect, the Entplan, Kyurem, Meloetta, Superior and Excadrill. Sorry, Superior is just not one of my favorites. I don't plan to memorize his name every time I see it. My bad. But as you can see, Zekrom, Genesect, and Kyurem at the top 4. I believe, in my opinion, I'm a Genesect lover. I don't know if you know this. My favorite Pokemons are like Genesect. I like Zoroark a lot. I like Baynet a lot. Man, I don't know when we're going to get a Baynet EX card. God, it's been a long time. Like a nice SIR. They better print one because I'm getting so mad. Mega Baynet would go absolutely crazy. If they make one, I'm buying every single copy of that card if it's nice. We're going on a rant over here. Let's come back. In my opinion, I think Zekrom has the most hype going for it. I think it has the most dynamic artwork of lightning falling as its foot hits the floor. I think Kyurem EX has the most boring artwork, let's be honest here. Meloetta is actually a very interesting card. I feel like it could rise above the occasion. End's Plan is very boring. I don't think it's that great, and it's just carrying it by being a male waifu card. And Genesect EX, very surprisingly, is the second most expensive SIR from this entire set. I believe it has actually some of the nicest artwork. If you look closer, it almost looks like some kind of Terminator looking card. It looks like it's escaping out of the lab because of course it's a human-made Pokemon. I think, in my opinion, the Genesect SIR is the best card in the entire Black Bolt set. Now everyone and their mother and their stepmother and their stepbrother and their dog and their absolute teachers are gonna disagree and say the Zekrom EX is obviously the best, but this is my opinion and I'm gonna stick to my guns. Of course nobody sticks with my guns with the poll because of course 83% tied with the 6 other SIRs. I mean the 3 other SIRs at 6% each. So of course, we're getting beaten out no matter what. You and me, the Genesect lovers, I don't know if there's 1 or 2 of you in the chat. Please let me know if you're a Genesect lover. I want to be part of that gang, but let me know in the comments below. I mean, this was obvious to hear. And finally, the end of the video, the last set, it's of course White Flare. Now, of course, Victini. By the way, I want to say really quickly, the Victini from this set is $498, but the Victini from this other set is $440, and the Zekrom is $446. So somehow, in White Flare, the Victini is actually the most expensive card of all Black Bolt and White Flare. Sorry, that's just kind of weird in my opinion. But let's take a look at the actual SIRs. I believe that the Reshiram EX, Hydreigon EX, Hilda, and Keldeo are in a league of their own. They're the number ones by far. Whimsicott is also in there. Don't pay attention to Whimsicott, let's be honest here. I think that the Hydreigon EX looks the best in my opinion. I've compared these artworks to kind of famous pop culture references such as Hydreigon EX looking almost like the Gotham City kind of Batman vibes. Hydreigon is just, it's a great Pokemon, it fits that perfectly. Keldeo looks a lot like the Lord of the Rings kind of forest, some kind of really mystical forest, and then Reshiram EX looks like Evangelion Angel Attack. Some pretty nerdy knowledge out there. But in my opinion, the Hydreigon EX looks best to me. I think Keldeo is actually the second best and Reshiram is third. Now, of course, that's artwork wise, that's just not what everyone else is thinking. Let's take a look at the poll. Let's go up and we're seeing that, oh my god, Reshiram 49%, Hydreigon at 40, Keldeo at 9, Whimsicott at 3. Of course, Whimsicott getting the absolute shaft here. No one cares about Whimsicott. I'm sorry if you like Whimsicott. Reshiram is number 1, but followed really closely by Hydreigon at 40%. That's crazy because, again, as I said, Hydreigon is my favorite SIR from this set, and I think it's very justified. I believe that Hydreigon is the best SIR of this set. Let's go over it really quickly, okay? Now, in Scarlet and Violet base, we have Gardevoir being the number 1 chase. In, Paldea Evolved, I do believe that the Chien-Pao is the best chase. Moving on, Obsidian Flames, of course, it's Charizard. Let's be honest here. I think that the best chase card, the best SIR of Pokemon 5-1 is the Zapdos. Moving on, I think Roaring Moon is the best chase card of Paradox Rift. Again, moving on, I think that Gardevoir is the most underrated, which means it's the best chase card, the best SIR. I think it's the best artwork of all Paldean Fates. Now we move on to Temporal Forces. I still believe Raging Bolt is the best SIR. It doesn't change. Moving on again, Greninja, best SIR of Twilight Masquerade. We go on to the worst set ever created. It's not the worst set, it's just really bad. We have Shrouded Fables, the dog being the number 1, Okie Dokie, the top SIR of this set. Finally, Stellaar Crown, the first set to introduce kind of these terraformed, interesting bordered Pokemon. We have Terapagos, of course, winning, being the number 1 chase card. Moving on, again, my craziest, amazing pick of this entire video, the Latios and Milotic being the top chase cards of Surgic Sparks, destroying the Pikachu, by the way. I want to say that, destroying that card that should not be that expensive. Prismatic Evolutions, it's so obvious. Of course, the Umbreon, Sylveon, and Espeon. Then we have, in my opinion, my favorite card, which is, of course, the Mewtwo. I think it it deserves it. It really deserves that spot. And then finally, 2 really lukewarm takes. We have Genesect being better than Zekrom, and finally we have the Hydreigon being better than the Reshiram. That was the list. That was all my opinions. Please let me know how I did in the comment section below. If I have a great take, awful takes, please, I want to hear your opinion, truly. I want to know if you think I should continue to make these videos, what I should do next. I want to hear from you, whether it be a great comment, a bad comment. I just appreciate all of you for watching this video. If you stuck to the end, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm making a ton of content. I make it constantly every day, very high quality videos, just like this, just like my last one. Thanks for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.